The music is nice, the vibes is right here at our Ministry of Education, Youth and Information Social Entrepreneurship Fair.
Yes.
But we have to do a vibes check, Javon.
Okay, and there's nothing better than a vibes check than a credit giveaway. So
Yes.
Christina, we're gonna give away some credit, Digicel and Flow. We're not leave out nobody.
Yes,
So
yes.
quick finger, when I'm on school challenge
fingers.
quiz, quick thinking.
Quick fingers.
Yeah.
We're not so good with it.
So let's start. Star 121 star. Some people are putting the number sign, you know. 7. This one is Digicel. 715. The people them in here can't get the credit.
Nobody on set.
88 68 48 14 77.
Someone must get that really quick, Jav. That wasn't fast at all.
Wait, no, we better try 7158868481477. Anybody, if you got it, please indicate in the chat. Someone.
All right. I feel like someone got it. I feel it in my spirit, Jav.
Yes.
Give them a next one. A flow. We have a flow.
All right,
We have a flow?
let me look for the flow. All right, so quickly, we're not leave out the flow persons.
Yes.
So star 121 star 71131155537 pause 8777. Say it one more. 711311553787777. So Flow and Digicel, we have 2 lucky persons right now to start off the social entrepreneurship fair with a blast.
Yes. So you have a credit check. You can go and tell your friends to join us. We are live here at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Is it the first time? I think it's the first time. Definitely the first time. We're making history here together. Social Entrepreneurship Fair 2021. So I want to vibe check to see the representatives from the different counties. We can't do the parishes because we don't take a long 14 parishes.
14.
So we want to call out who is here from Surrey. Yeah? The Surrey people in the chat?
Surrey are my favorite county now.
But you must not live at Surrey, Javon.
Middlesex,
You're
Christina.
a Middlesex county?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I know my counties, guys. I went to social studies class.
Hey.
Right? All right. So how about Middlesex then?
Middlesex people, please don't disappoint. My St. Catherine peeps, my Clarendon peeps. Let's go.
Yes,
St.
they're
Catherine
coming.
YIC.
All right. I love
Yes.
it. And what about my Cornwall friends? Yes? All right. So like everybody's here and we're live and we're ready and we're ready and we're set. Yes, buzz. So I know some of you here may be wondering, why is it that we're having this particular event today? Why is it important for us to have a social entrepreneurship fair? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, young people, when we think about the issues of unemployment and underemployment, the ministry would have thought, aha, eureka moment. For those young people, particularly those who are unattached, and for those wondering what unattached means, it means young people are not in formal education institutions, they're not employed, they're not in training. We want to ensure that they're not in at-risk situations. We want to limit that as best as possible. And so they come up with the idea of having a social entrepreneurship fair to ensure that young people will receive access to opportunities. We're talking about knowledge, we're talking about tools, we're talking about scenarios where they can think about how can they create jobs for themselves and for others. And so our implementing partners, such as Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, of course, the Institute of Law and Economics, the Heart Trust NSTA, and the Jamaica 4-H clubs came together and said, we are going to make this happen. And this fair is actually a precursor to the Youth Social Entrepreneurship Program, which is being designed to engage at-risk youth. So really and truly, we're just having this event as a precursor to something even bigger and better. But we're starting off today. And what do we have in store for the young people?
Yes,
Javon?
so let that sink in. That was a lot of information.
Yes, it was.
Yes, but let that sink in that this is an important event. And to ameliorate the social issue, we're going to have activities such as e-commerce, how you engage with the digital market. That is so important important right now since everything is virtual. Our Zoom people know that so well.
Exactly.
We're also talking about the ethos of the ethos of the event, which is social entrepreneurship. And Christina gave you a rundown of what that is already. We're going to talk about agriculture and agri-processing. So the persons in the county that is very agriculture centric, this part is for you. So join that breakout room. We're also going to talk about job readiness skills. So your resume, it look good. So are you ready for the interview process? This is where you're going to learn so much more about job readiness. So I'm also waiting to learn from this event because our expert panel, they're very equipped with the knowledge to give us these type of information. Christina, how about you?
I am excited. We want to upskill you. We want to equip. We want to upskill you and we want to equip you with all the knowledge, tools, and competencies that you can possibly have as you go off into the job market. So, young people, call your friend, text them on WhatsApp, at them on Instagram or Twitter and say, please come on out to the Social Entrepreneurship Fair happening now live on Zoom and our different platforms. So we're going to go right into our prayer because we know we need God at the center and the beginning of everything. Javon?
Let's pray. Most righteous and eternal Father, thank you for bringing us here for such an important event. Thank you for persons behind this with the knowledge and the know-how in teaching young people on how to build themselves, how to make them holistic. We're going to teach them skills that will help them not only now, but in the future. Lord, thank you for the ministry. Thank you for the persons. Thank you for the students. And let this event be a successful one. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. We know who went to Sunday school.
Hey.
We won't get into that. All right. So we have a number of our implementing partners bringing greetings this afternoon. And we're going to begin with Mr. Marlon Johnson, the Senior Program Director for Work-Based Training MSME at the Heart Trust NSTA. Mr. Marlon Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christina, Javon. Thank you for having me here this afternoon. Let me first say good afternoon to my colleagues on the platform and, of course, target audience, the youth, who will be using this particular information, will exploiting this particular information to advance themselves. Let me also thank my colleagues at the Ministry of Education, Youth Information for the organization of this most important social entrepreneurship fair, which is an event. And of course, this event, as Christina said earlier, will lead into a program which I'm looking forward to. So let me thank our colleagues at the ministry for putting this together. Of course, this is even more important as we on the cusp of the November Youth Month, and at the Trust, at the Heart NSTA Trust, we're eager and very elated to be a part of the process. I will greet this afternoon on behalf of my chairman, Mr. Edward Gabidon, our managing director, Mrs. Denton Prince, and of course, our deputy managing director, Ms. Campbell. The Heart NSTA Trust, as the Human Capital Development Agency, and it's a revised trust, as the persons may know, we are now merged with the National Youth Service, the former Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning, and the Apprenticeship Board. What this essentially means is that as a trust, there is something here for everybody. And as you know, my colleagues will explain later, we even have grants, MSME grants for those youngsters who have an aptitude in entrepreneurship. So I thank you, colleagues, for having me this afternoon. And as a trust, we look forward to being a part of the process. Thank you. And all the best.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Marlon Johnson. Javon, where are we now in terms of greetings?
All right, so the next person who's going to bring us greetings is Benisha Marshall, and she'll be giving us greetings on behalf of Mr. Dwayne Gutsmere from the Institute of Law and Economics. Ms. Marshall?
Let me just jump in. I'm actually here, and so I still can do the greetings myself. Apologies for that. I was in another session and quickly skedaddle to be over here. So thank you guys.
Seems like we lost technical difficulties. It won't be a Zoom moment without technical
without difficulties. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay, so while we get Mr. Gutzmer back with us, we're going to move to Miss Carol McCormack, Public Relations and Marketing Manager from Jamaica 4-H Clubs. Miss McCormack?
Hearing. We're having some technical difficulties, but don't, okay.
Here.
I'm seeing Mr. Cormac.
I think you have to unmute Miss McCormack. Still not hearing you, unfortunately. So we're going to have the technical team work with you behind the scenes to resolve that. And we're going to just give away another credit.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm sure some of our young people, right, they would love to have
More
what we're
credit.
going, digital flow, what we're going with.
We're going with flow this time.
All
Since
right,
we started
no
out
problem.
with digital, we're going with
flow.
flow.
All right.
So already, again, quick fingers, and it begins. *121 *, yeah, 20056500132903. Saying it again. 20056500132903. Anybody get that? Let me hear it in the chat.
I really hope someone got that. As I'm going to take it, you know, because I want credit too, and I have a flow phone. All right. So, tech team, are we ready again with our greetings? Not yet, not yet. All right. So,
all right. So let's talk more about social entrepreneurship, Christina. How important it is?
Well, it is very important because when we think about our current context of young people and anyone really wanting to ensure that they have quality life. And one of the best ways in which you can guarantee that for yourself is by being able to create jobs, not just jobs, but jobs that solve social problems. And that's one of the primary aspects of social entrepreneurship. And it's so important that we're having this fair because here you are in an environment where you're learning, how can I go about creating jobs for other people? Do you have any input on that?
I too agree in terms of right now in the ravaging pandemic of water pandemic, many persons, many young people, they lost jobs, and even before that, jobs were so hard to ascertain.
Exactly.
So many programs that you have ministerial programs, many summer internships from corporate businesses, Sagicor especially, they had programs in place for persons in the summer, young people, to get internship and gain experience, because a lot of jobs they want experience from persons. So now with the pandemic, many young people are without jobs, without experience, without internships that they would normally get. Work and travel is one of them. So learning about social entrepreneurship now, we're teaching them certain skills, one, and we're giving them access to a market where they can make themselves marketable in order to be job ready and in order to have the tools in order to gain jobs. So that is why I'm so happy to be here. So you're creating
jobs and you're able to access jobs as well. I mean, that's incredible. I don't think there's anything else I'd want to be doing on a Friday afternoon. And then we think about we're targeting the age group 15 to 29. Right? And why are we targeting that group? Everybody can guess it because usually between that age group, everyone I think about, oh, me can secure the bag. Yes? Right? So we know the nice life doesn't come cheap. And we want to gain and maintain the nice life in a way that is, how we put it now, we're not doing any crime, we're not chopping anyone or anything like that. We want to ensure that whatever we're engaging in solves social problems and don't actually create any. And when we think about our at-risk young people being in an environment where there's crime, where there's poverty, it's very important for young people to be able to access as well as to create their own employment opportunities.
Let's bring in our Zoom persons and the persons on the live, what they think about it. The production team will tell us some of the comments in the chat. So what you think about social entrepreneurship, what you expect to gain from the seminar as we work out the audio issues. The in-house DJ is available. He's on the Zoom.
I think he is.
So the in-house DJ will come on while your chats are coming in, and when we get back, we'll read some of them. So DJ, take it away. post. I'm stopping now.
Is it playing?
I think we can hear what they can hear.
Oh, okay. Is that what's happening? They can't hear, but we can't hear, but they can hear?
I'm not here. The DJ, them hear the DJ?
No, where's the DJ was playing a while ago?
Facebook?
Are we still live in the Zoom?
Let me look on Facebook. Let's see some comments.
We need somebody to come operate this. Call one of the girls to come operate this. All right, so while the tech team is starting out behind the scenes in terms of our greetings, we are going to be asking in the chat for persons to just drop in the chat what has their experience been like since the start of the pandemic in terms of finding jobs. Because we want to have an idea how important, yes, we have the research and we know it's important, but we want to hear from you live. Yeah. What's the experience been like in terms of finding and securing a job now in this panini? So we're going to have someone from the tech team to come, from the production team to come, and to read some of the comments also we can be able to interact with
our Zoomers. All right, I'm also on Facebook, Christina.
Yes.
And I'm not seeing any comments yet, but I would like to big up the persons on Facebook, 16 going strong.
Yes.
So they're with us as well as we talk about social entrepreneurship. But Zoomers, what are you saying?
What are our Zoomers saying?
So they want to know more about business.
Okay, and we definitely have a number of speakers here that will be telling you. I mean, we have Mrs. Villett, Kelly Bennett later on talking about youth and agriculture, business and entrepreneurship development. Yeah. So for those of you who want to start your hydroponics farm, because I want to start that for myself, you know, so I'm putting that out there. Who want to start your little farm or your micro farms or something, you know, very innovative in terms of farming. Yeah. But to do with business, of course, she will be here to speak about that as well. We do have a group digital business manager from Ssl at Miss Karen Scott, and she'll be talking about e-commerce or really online businesses. And I know there must be someone in the chat who has an online store. Who is that person in the chat who has an online store? Because
plug it right now.
Plug it right now because we want to support. You see how you have on my shirt and you see how Javon come out in him jacket and thing and him nice and everything. Yes, we want to be able to support one of you. So if you have an online store, drop it in the chat. Or if you have any business at all, I'm sure you want persons to support you. We want to build each other this afternoon. Drop your business, plug it in the chat. Okay, right. So what else do we have in terms of what you'd want to hear this afternoon apart from businesses?
We're hearing that some persons want to learn more about e-commerce, so, you know, setting up websites to build a business. I know Instagram have that thing now. I think WhatsApp have that thing now that you can just
WhatsApp business,
put it,
right? Connect it.
Put all your items on WhatsApp and persons can order it like that. So we're going to learn more about e-commerce, so don't worry, guys. All your issues, all that you want to know, we'll have it here. We'll sort out persons who will equip you with all of this. So don't worry.
We have exactly what you're here for. And later on in the afternoon, well, it's already afternoon, but later on in the program, we're going to be having some opportunities, pop-up sessions. And I love anything that talks about pop-up because it means that there's something exciting in store. Yeah. We're going to be having some breakout rooms where you'll be able to go in and to speak to our speakers and in a more kind of, you know, engaging format about the different questions and concerns that you have and to get some responses as well. So we're continuing with that. And then there's also our virtual booth visits as well. So you'll be able to interact with some booths online. I'm not really sure how that will be done, but
I'll try.
I know that the tech team has it already in store for you to be able to do those virtual booth visits. So we're going right back into our greetings. And I think we were at Mr. Gutsmer.
Mr. Gutsmer. So good smear.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just giving greetings on behalf of Mr. Gosmer. I'm Shauna Todd of the Institute of Law and Economics. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, a while ago we were hearing Mr. Gosmer and then he got cut off. But nevertheless, thank you guys for having us. Also to the Ministry of Education, thank you for partnering, for us to be able to partner with you and kickstart a lot of these activities for young people. It's very important at this time, especially in a pandemic with persons losing their jobs and not being able to tap into certain areas to make money for themselves and to sustain themselves. So on behalf of the Institute of Law and Economics and Mr. Dwayne Gosmer, our CEO, and our board of directors, we thank you for the partnership. We continue to stay close to you guys and partner with you guys as we try to be more involved and, you know, have more going on for youth and more opportunities out there for youth so you can sustain yourself and you can grow as you go along. So thank you guys. Thank you for the partnership. And we're looking forward to Youth Month for November. So thank you so much.
Short and spicy. Thank you, Miss. Thank you. That was a representative from the Institute of Law and Economics bringing greetings on behalf of Dwayne Gosmer. Thank you so much. We have Miss McCormack with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
I hope you're hearing me this time.
I'm hearing you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, hosts. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the management and staff and board of directors of the Jamaica 4-H clubs, I want to say thanks to the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information and other partners for having the Jamaica 4-H clubs on board. I think that this event is very timely in light of what is happening and especially how it is affecting our youth. And the Jamaica 4-H club is very happy to be a part of this. We are no strangers in terms of partnership with this ministry, though we are the youth arm of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. But of course, you know, whenever it comes to youth, the Jamaica 4-H club, we are the hub for agricultural excellence as it relates to youth. And not only just agriculture, but other skills as well. And of course, we're very happy to share with you this afternoon the opportunities that the 4-H clubs has for young persons out there in light of social entrepreneurship and for those who want to also start their businesses, as well as educational opportunities in terms of scholarships, grants, and bursaries. So again, thank you very much for having the 4-H clubs on board, and we look forward to an exciting afternoon. Stay safe, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thanks again.
All right, thank you so much, Miss McCormack. That was the Public Relations and Marketing Manager for Jamaica 4-H Clubs. So, you know, it wouldn't be a ministry event if we never have a goodie bag to give away. So invite a friend so that you can get some of these goodies or they can get some of these goodies. So we'll have some branded cups from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. I know everybody want their waters and so. And it looked like a Starbucks cup, so you know.
Yes.
We'll have stationery as well. We'll have some pens and pencils and many more. So keep within the event, learn as much as you can because the questions will be catered towards the presentations and everything about the fair. So just pay attention so you can get a goodie bag. I wish I was
as well as some meal vouchers. We want to
Yes.
also mention that we have some meal vouchers as well in store for you. So for persons like me who love our food, you definitely need to pay attention so you're able to win those prizes. So we're moving right into our first presenter for this. Right, so we're still continuing with our greetings and we're now moving to our final presenter for this afternoon, which is very important because the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, I would say, is our title partner. And so we'll have Senior Director for Youth and Adolescents Policy Division, Miss Jamie-Ann Chavans. Ms. Chavans?
Right. So are you guys hearing me and seeing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today for a virtual social entrepreneurship fair. It has been a long time coming in terms of getting our young persons involved. We have seen the need, the gap for our young persons in terms of unemployment and underemployment. And so we envision this fair to bridge that gap. So our youths, through their agency as creative beings and professionals, business persons, are able to fend for themselves. But you have the social before the entrepreneurship, which shows or signifies an element of giving back to society. So it's not just about a profit-making venture that we want you to learn how to do today and learn how to do it well, but also how do you give back and support others? So we noticed that Christina and Javon had asked all of you to drop your information in terms of your businesses so that they can assist in promoting your businesses through this intervention. And so we ask that once you gain the knowledge here today on this platform, that when you go out and you're engaged in your businesses, that you always remember there that you have a responsibility to give back to your communities, to give back to each other. And so each one build one, right? And so today I want to welcome you all. I'm so happy to see that so many young persons are tuned in, and I hope that you learn and grow from everything that is taught here today. I want to thank our partners, Heart Trust and 4-H Clubs. We could not do this venture without you, and we are looking to partner with you in the near future for the program itself, which is the Youth Social Entrepreneurship Program. And so I want to thank you all and have a good day.
Don't say, she says, each one build one. And that's exactly what we want to do for the young people of Jamaica here. We want to build all of you through the information we will share with you this afternoon. And we're running right into the first set of, I would say, tools that you'll be able to access. And that's from Mrs. Teresa Taylor. She'll be presenting on job readiness. And she's from the Institute of Law and Economics, Manager of Legal Affairs and Communication. Mrs. Teresa Taylor on job readiness.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, just checking. All right, good. So that means that the other young persons, I'm doing a quick check-in too. I like to call random names to just check to ensure that persons are in fact hearing me and I'm not talking to myself. I have to say it all over. But thank you so much for having me. It is truly a pleasure. I'm going to try my best to ensure that as much of the conversation we can have it interactive so that you can learn quite a bit from this interaction, because it's not a lecture, you know, it's a skills building workshop, though it's quick, right? So I'm just going to quickly check Amoya, Anika, I'm just calling random persons just to see if you can hear me, because I'm going to share my screen and I want to ensure that when we do some of the interactions, you can, oh, this thing is not allowing me. So just checking. All right. So, first of all, I want to give persons an opportunity to share with me why it is you think it would be important. I'm not sure if they told you what the topic is, but we're going to be talking today about resume writing, interviews, and career development. Why you need a good resume? Why is it that, and how do you write a good resume? And how do you do a good interview? Those kinds of things. Anybody can think through why you might want to have a good resume. Anybody might want to jump in and just quickly share on that for me so that we can move on. And I'm sure everybody can tell me. Yes, Malia, thank you. Go ahead. Yes, Malia, I'm hearing you. No, you're muted. Okay, Malia, I'm not hearing you. So I'm going to go quickly to Anlisa. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Anlisa. Unmute, and then you can go ahead and say what you want to say. All right, team, I'm not sure if there's something where they can't unmute, but Malia, you can try again. I don't want to lose time, but I still want to. All right, I think there's going to be a challenge. So let us see if I can just go ahead and then you guys can.
Good day.
Hi, Malia. Yes.
I'm Mahalia. So in order for you to get a good resume, you'd have to get a good job. You'd have to have a good resume so that it's just an introduction of you. So you'd have to have that so that you can get the right opportunity, because that's the first thing that they see before they see you.
Excellent. So I'm gonna have to further present because I know Vashti, I come into you, so I'm glad you put up your hand because later on I'm gonna throw a question at you, Vashti. But because I want to maximize on time and the amount of information we get here, I'm gonna jump to the next point that I have in the slide. So she's quite correct. Malia is on the ball. It's the first thing that they see about you when before they see your face, before they know anything, it's the first representation. I'm gonna quickly ask Vashti to listen to some instructions and give me a moment to do that. Shanika, also I see your hands up, so these are my willing people. We're going to do something called Outlandish Introduction. Imagine that people here don't know you at all, which is the case. They don't know you. I want you to say 3 things about yourself. Your name, a school or university you either go to or want to go to. So if you don't go there, that's still fine. And something that is not necessarily true, but something that would grab our attention about you. So let me start by giving you an example of how to do an outlandish introduction. Hi, my name is Teresa Taylor. I attended the Harvard University and my aim is to become a microphysicist. I've also met Barack Obama and I believe that I will be the first person to invent a digitized version of the paperclip. And so in the future, I plan to ensure that your future is held together with a virtual digitized paperclip. Ask me how later. Teresa Taylor for you. And that's it. And I'm just going to ask you, after I said that, would you be interested to know more about me and to know more what I'm trying to do and probably how? Shanika, I see your hands up. Would you want to know more about me based on that quick introduction? You can't say no, but I want to hear your honest feedback. Shanika?
Good evening to everyone. Shanika Rich is speaking, and yes, I would want to know a lot more about it.
Okay, so what's my name?
Your name is Teresa.
Are you reading my thing on the screen, or did you remember that? What was one thing that
I can't see your name on the screen.
Oh, you can't. Oh, and now I'm feeling hugely complimented. So you remember my name. What was it that stuck out to you about what I said?
The way how you put your words together to say that you're planning to build a business, and oh, you want to know, check me later, something like that.
Okay, so you like the way I phrase my thing. Cool, I'll take that.
Yes,
Thank you.
You don't just tell it. You say, if you want to know, check me later.
Absolutely. So that's very important. Yeah, a call to action. All right, I saw another hand go up, but I couldn't pronounce that name. Thank you so much, Vashti. Michael, quickly, would you want to know more about me? What stuck out to you about the introduction? What do you remember? Michael.
Hi, everyone. I'm Micah Hamilton. So yes, I would definitely want to know more about you. And the first thing that struck out to me is that you said you went to Harvard, and that is definitely a school that I'm interested in. And then you said that your goal is to make our life better in the future. And that was definitely a statement that shot with me.
So it's the school and the fact that I was going to make your life better that stuck with you. All right, I'm getting a lot of hands, and I promise you I tried my best to juggle as well as to give you all the information. Kalia Woolery, I see your hand. I'm going to ask you to try your hand at a quick 10-second interview, just like what I did. Quickly, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I just need your name in there, a school you either aspire to attend or have attended, and something that you want to do. It doesn't have to necessarily be true, but state it in a way that we can follow. Go ahead. Your hand gone down and I can't. Once your hand comes down, you guys, you go down. Kalia, yes, there you are. Go ahead for me. And then Vashti, I'm coming to you. Just try your hand at it, 10 seconds.
Okay, I was having a little problem unmuting my mic, but my name is Taylor Woolery and I am from St. Anne. I attend the Marcus Garvey Technical High School and I would like to go to the University of West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica.
All right, thank you for that. But I want you to remember that you want them to remember something. I gave you the option of adding one thing that you have not yet accomplished or something that you want them to believe, even if it's not necessarily true, no. And I'll go into why. So think on that. Hold on to that. Gabriella, I see your hand. Go ahead. 10 seconds. Quick. Introduce yourself. Your name, a school you've attended or want to attend, and something outlandish, something interesting about you. Doesn't have to be factual, but it has to be something believable. Go ahead, Gabriella.
My name is Gabriella Thomas. I attend the Immaculate
Hold on,
Conception.
Gabriella. I saw you agree to me. My name is Gabriella. Listen, there are 241 people here. This is our first time interacting with you. Come again. And you have a beautiful name. So come, let's go.
Okay. My name is Gabriella Thomas. I attend the Immaculate Conception High School. I am a geneticist who specializes in biomedicine, and I've created a cure for Alzheimer's disease.
Woo! All right. I thank you, Gabriella. All right, Vashti, I see your hand up, and I'm gonna ask you soon what you think on this. But Vashti, would you want to meet Gabriella based on her interview, just her quick introduction just now? Vashti? Okay, I'm not getting Vashti. Yes, go ahead, Vashti.
Pardon me.
Miss,
Would
it
you
could have
want
been
to?
a little bit more.
Sorry, I'm having a challenge. Vashti, I'm not hearing you. Go again.
Miss, I would want to.
Something is going on. I'm hearing multiple people at the same
I
time.
think her background is a little bit crowded, but she said she would want to meet her.
Okay,
She has
thank
some
you.
feedback going back. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Shimoya, would you have wanted to meet her based on her introduction just now?
Yes, miss.
Why?
Miss, because of how she said it, miss, and how she told us that what she did, miss. So that kind of triggered me to want to find out more about what she's interested in and how she created it.
All right, nice. Do you remember her name? Do you remember her name? All right, so guys, I see a lot of hands, and I promise you the only reason I'm moving so quickly is because I am very aware of your time and other persons, and I want to get into the presentation. So I am going to note the hands and for questions going forward, because a lot of us in the room. Now, you guys are all correct. The way how somebody introduces themselves affects the way how we see them. I have never met any of you guys that have spoken to me since afternoon in person. But based on the introductions, I would have wanted to meet you guys. And for some persons, did you get an impression in the beginning that, you know, perhaps they were a little shy or perhaps they were a little nervous? But I gave you an opportunity to do that because factually, you must state your name. In a career environment, you must state certain facts about who you are. You can't change those things. But you can state something interestingly, even though it should be factual when you go into an interview or write it on a resume. However, it's very important the way you put it together because it will determine whether the people want to know more about you or not. And sometimes the things that we are sharing, we're nervous about sharing it because we feel like if we don't script it a certain way and say it a certain way, something is going to go wrong. One of the first things I want to share with you about interviews and resumes is that the people don't know anything about you. They only know what you tell them. They don't know what you're supposed to say. They only know what you have told them. So you don't have to be nervous about the fact that you're not sure if they're gonna like it, right? You don't have to be nervous about that. It's fine if you don't say it how you wanted to say it, but make sure that you leave an impact, a lasting impact, so that person wants to know more about who you are. The only difference is do not say anything in your resume or in an interview that is not true. So you can state your facts, but state it interestingly, the way you put it together. So we're gonna talk a quick minute about resumes. Now, did anybody know that there's a difference between a resume and a CV, a curriculum vitae? Per se, I see a hand up, so I'm going to go with Nathan and then Annalisa. Did you know, Nathan, that there's a difference between a resume and a CV? They're not the same? All right, now getting Nathan. Annalisa, go ahead. Did you know that there's a difference between a resume and a CV? Annalisa? Okay, we're having an audio issue, you know. Gabriella, go ahead. Did you know that there's a difference?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Do you know what the difference is?
I don't know much about it, but based on what my parents have told me in the past, that resumes are like typically just 1 to 2 pages, and CVs just have no length restriction, and
Excellent.
they're like 3 to 10 pages.
Excellent. Excellent. So your parents have given you very good career guidance. That is true. So we use them interchangeably a lot, but they're actually not quite the same thing. A resume and a CV are not exactly the same. Your resume should not be longer than 2, maximum 3 pages, and it really should be 2 pages. Whereas a CV usually gives you a lot more details about your academic qualifications, the courses you may have done, and it usually for persons trying to get a fellowship or trying to get a specific type of position, so you have to go into greater detail, and usually there is no limit on the length of a CV. But we use them interchangeably quite a lot. And in the general space, we understand them as being the same thing, but in theory, they are actually not. And so you want to work on them as separate items. One that is more detailing of your academic accomplishments and pursuits, and one that gives an overalling, which is the resume of your skills as well as academic pursuits. So your skills may not necessarily be things you studied, but they are things you know how to do. So it might include your hobbies. It might include your cooking. It might include your computing skills that you've probably just learned by teaching yourself, and programming skills, which young people really are excellent at nowadays. It might include your research skills and fascinating people business on social media, but you're very good at pulling information together from multiple sources. And that may not be something you were taught to do or went to school to do, but that's a skill that you have. So that is what you would put on your resume, a summary of your skills and academic accomplishments, whereas your CV would be a very detailed organization of your academic accomplishments, of sub-courses and so on, and your accomplishments and the grades that you got in some of these things, right? Now, career development is an ongoing process of gaining knowledge and improving your skills that will help you and to establish a career plan. You never stop learning. And as a certificate in something, all it does is sharpen you and put you in a better position on the job market. So that's something that you never, ever, ever want to stop doing, learning. You want to ensure that no matter what happens, you can go on your LinkedIn and take a little 30-minute course. I don't know how many of you guys know that if you create a LinkedIn profile, they offer you skills building courses, and they're not long. And what they do is help to sharpen your knowledge and your skills base, so that by the time you get into the work world or even volunteerism, you are far more valuable in that space in terms of what you can offer. Why do we want to talk about this today? Because generally speaking, we found that as young people, we follow the crowd and we're not so sure what we want to. There are so many options whirling around your head. You're not even sure if you want to necessarily go in this path. And having options is good, but not being sure which direction to take can be problematic. And so this is one of the reasons why it's very important to write a resume and have a plan about where you want to go. Because if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. At the end of the day, you just end up going in several directions. And I don't know how many of us started off selecting our subjects, and we're just choosing a wide range so that whatever we decide, we have the subject. And it's not no shame in the game. Yes, Annalise, I see the hand. I did that too. No shame in the game. But eventually, you have to narrow it down to some things that you are good at and excellent at delivering, and choose something that is a passion for you. Because if you do something that you're skilled at and you're passionate about it, it's really not like working, because you'd have done it anyway. But you need to figure out what those are. So what do you want to do with your life? Ask yourself that question. What do I want to become? What do I want to be remembered for? When I would have gotten to 70, I decided to 65, 60, it's time to retire. And I know you think it's a long time, but it's really not. Because if you think about it, you can still remember a lot of things when you were 5 years old, and you can't believe that you're 18, 19, 20. I definitely still feel like I'm 22 and I'm not. So I'm more than 10 years older than that. Well, I'm almost 10 years older than that. So the point is, time flies, and you have to have something to show for it. So ask yourself, what is it that you really want to do? And what is it that you want to be remembered for? And whatever that is, put your heart into documenting that and just sharpening those skills. So we're going to talk about quickly, I'm going to jump past this one because you quickly jumped on it. Now, a resume and a CV, we spoke about the length and the difference between the detailing that you put on a CV versus a resume. But why do you need a resume? So everybody should have a resume. And if you don't have a CV in the technical term, a curriculum vitae, as the name suggests, that's what they mean when they say CV, you should have a resume. And you should have a resume because what? It is, as earlier said by one of your colleagues, it is a marketing tool. It is something that says to someone, this is what I am offering. Would you like to engage me to purchase these services? That's really what you're doing. That's what a resume is. And it is also a requirement for many organizations. But the person who spoke first also said something very important. It is the gateway to landing what you call a good interview and ultimately getting a good job. The sole purpose of doing an interview is not to just talk about yourself. It is not to just document and say, oh, I feel good. I have 9 subjects, girl, or guy, you have 9 subjects, but shot. It's not just for that. It's the purpose of it is to be able to give it to someone and get them to do what? Call you back. Get them to do what we did earlier on. Ask you more about yourself and ask you certain things so that they can add you to the job that you really want to attract to yourself, right? So a resume is a personal advertisement, nothing more, nothing less. It makes the assertion that all good ads do. When you watch the ads on TV, what they're saying is if you buy this product, you will get these specific benefits. That's what they're saying. Hi, Shanika, I'm seeing your hand. Or was that from before? All right, guys, if it's a question, hold them until the end. I have a query section. So, but if it's something you really need to add, feel free to raise your hand and unmute, and I'll definitely accommodate you. So it makes an assertion. It's an advertisement about yourself, and it convinces your employer that you have what it takes to be successful in this new position or career. That's really what it is, a resume is about. And my thing is not moving. So when you get an opportunity to do that in how many pages? 2 pages. Sell yourself. Don't just talk about your academics. Talk about your skills, your human interacting skills. If you have very good people skills, talk about that. If you have extracurriculars that you are a part of in school, and which is very important, by the way, because it speaks to roundedness, sell that as well. If you are able to, if you had an internship or volunteered, and by the way, let me tell you, for young persons, one of the best ways to get work experience is by volunteering. Yes, when you sit on these committees and these boards and you are the secretary and you're writing minutes, when you are sitting on these committees and you're the project chairperson, I'm not sure why my slides are doing this to me. They're jumping all over the place. You are getting experience. You are learning. And what that says to them, if you sit on these committees in these positions of leadership or volunteerism for 2-3 years, I promise you, when you get into the work world, it's the same things you're doing. It's the same things you're doing. The only difference is you would have done it without compensation. And that is, to me, and to a lot of employers, even more credible. Because if your work was excellent when you were not being paid for it, what more when we pay you to do it? Have you ever thought about it that way? So spend a lot of time assigning yourself to the passion areas. After you've asked yourself, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What do I want to be remembered for? If it's environment, find an environmental club and volunteer there, because at the end of the day, it becomes a part of your work experience portfolio. If it is that it is climate change, go ahead, find entities for that. If it has to do with human leadership and development, find organizations that do that. Whatever it is, find an organization that you can serve and learn while you're doing that, because that's how you boost your experience package, especially when you're very young and you wouldn't have had an opportunity to have these jobs. Focus in your resume on the employer's needs. Let me say that again. Do not just go talking about what you can do and whatever. How can you serve them? Why should they hire you? Ask yourself that. Why should they hire me? What would make you the perfect candidate? What does this employer really want? Because if you were the employer and you were running your shoes business, would you really hire somebody who only knows about here? Think about it. So what can I say to them that would serve their needs? And if you write your resume from the standpoint of this is what I can do for you, then you will find that you grab their attention. Because when we did the interviews, the quick introduction earlier, I said, if you want to know more, and I also said that I'm going to make your life better. And somebody said that was what they remembered. People want to know that you're not going to just go there and tout your own horn, but you're also going to add value to their organization. So when you write your resume, ask yourself these questions. What would set an exceptional candidate apart from a merely good one? And some of the things that do that is good academic performance, rounded experience, meaning something in sports, something in volunteerism, something in different areas, definitely sets you apart, and very good people skills sometimes, depending on what the job or the nature of the job is. Sometimes you're a detail-oriented person. You're not gonna fly by you don't miss a beat. That's something you want to document as a natural skill or ability. People tell you all the time that you're very good at diffusing arguments and so on. Maybe you have very strong dispute resolution skills, right? So maybe that's something you should look at. Read carefully as a strategy and gather hints from the advertisement. Do not do one resume for every single job, because the reality is that there are some skill sets that they're more interested in than others. And I know we're tempted to do it, and it's done a lot, but you should tailor your resume to each job that you're asking for, and read what it is that the job description is for these jobs, if it is available in there. And if it's not available in there, when they put the ad in the paper, go on Google the job and find out what that person does, so that when you write in your resume, you can write it with that same tone, especially if you have the skills that they are looking for. Ask other persons who work in the same company what it is like there, and call your prospective employer and ask them what is it that they're looking for in the role. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you those points. Plan ahead. Get clear on what the employer is looking for and what you have to offer before you write that resume. All right. Now, there are two main sections to our resume, and I don't know how much time I have left. I ask my team to just quickly message me and tell me. When you do your resume, there are two main sections: the assertion section and your evidence section. The assertion is about your abilities, your qualities, and your achievements, the things that you claim that you can do. So the skills section, yes, that's where you put some of those things. So that's the section that you would put things that said, I am detail oriented, I am a good multitasker, I have strong people skills, stuff like that. That's what you would put. And then you have the evidence section, is where you back up your assertions with evidence that you actually can do what you say you can do. You have some general orders that we use in preparing resumes. You have the chronological, functional, and the combined. The combined is the most popular, but an excellent resume will open doors for you in places that you never even imagine. So do it, and do it well, and tailor it specifically to what it is that they're asking for. Just as how you wouldn't go to a restaurant and expect them to just assume what you want to order, you would definitely have them take your order first and then tailor what you have ordered to what you've asked for. Don't do your resume like that, where you just one size fits all. Now, remember that your resume meets them before they meet you. It tells them a lot about who you are and who you are not, and what you want to achieve. So be careful about how the resume is presented. It should be neat. It should be well organized. It shouldn't have those typographical errors or other types of errors. If you're not good at the formatting thing, give it to somebody who is, so that they can help you. And it should have a professional appearance. So the pretty flowers that you put on the top and the animals around the borders, no. We keep it simple. And we try not to use colors that are insulting. So you try not to use the bright reds, and you definitely don't write a resume font in anything but black or a deep navy. Or you can do a gray if the gray is deep enough for legibility, right? But it must be professional in appearance and not distracting. So because what is happening is when they see your resume without having met you, they're getting an impression of who you are. So if they see your resume and it is neat, they're going to think that Jamie Ann is neat. If they see the resume and they realize that what they're seeing there, O'Neill seems to have missed no dots and crossed every T, dot every I, they're going to say, but O'Neill seems to be somebody who pays attention to detail. Cornelia, the same. If the resume should, if it looks professional, it conveys to them that you are careful and you are professionally competent and well organized. So what you're doing is selling yourself before you even meet these people. And so that's really very important. Now, I want you to write these down because everybody should have a resume. And these are the things that all resumes should have. It should have a header. It should have an objective statement or a summary statement, right? So it doesn't have to be both. It can be one. And it should have your education background, your experience, full-time and part-time jobs. If it's only a summer job that you did, that's okay. Volunteer work that you did, any practicum, any internship that you did. Now, let me tell you something. If you did an area or course of study that you did not pass, you may want to consider not putting that on it. So even if it was an area you enjoyed, but you did not do it successfully, don't put it on a resume. Remember, it's an advertisement that says that I am competent and I can do all of what I've said I can do. Do not put courses that you were unsuccessful in, unless you want to have a conversation about the lessons that you learned in doing that, right? And then you also want to have an area that speaks about your interests and your hobbies. And let me tell you something, do not undersell the interests and hobbies. A company that is looking at Shanika and is looking at Tanelia and is looking at Vanessa and is looking at Jason Jacket, when they're looking at your resume, all of you have 8 subjects and the company has a badminton team or a track team or a football team, and you tell them you can play football, you better believe they're going to pick you over the candidate that has the subjects. Because guess what? When company corporate footballer play, them know you dep on the team. Think about it that way. So do not undersell the hobbies and interests, and do not waste that section by saying in the hobbies, I like to read. Do something more with the reading. I enjoy reading certain types of novels. That kind of thing tells them a little bit more about what it is that who you are and what you can add to their plate, right? Now speak about your honors and your awards and your certificates. So when you do courses, like even things like these, and they're empowering, even if it's a one-day thing, if you get a certificate from things like these, use it, because it shows them that you're interested in your own self-growth and development. That's what it does. It tells them that you don't sit and just wait for the mandatory schooling to happen. You look for opportunities to empower yourself and ensure. Now in your header, I want to just ensure that I show you something before we get too crazy on time. Your name should be there. Your permanent address should be there. If you don't have a permanent address, you can use a mailing address or ask someone who is permitting you to receive mail there to put that there. Your email address should be there, and your telephone contact information should be there. It should be at the top of the page. It should be easily visible in case they want to just call you back to get some information. Here are some examples of how some of them have been done. It can be done simply. It can be done with a little more complexity. And shameless plug, I have a company that does this. So if you're not so sure how to do it, happy to guide you, happy to help you through creating your resume and making sure that it looks a particular way. But basic information should be there. All right. I see a hand raised. Yes, Amanda? Okay, Amanda, the hand gone down and not seeing you anymore. Right. So we spoke about it. You've told them who you are. You've told them what you can offer them. And now you need to write your objective, your summary statement. What is it that you aim to do with your career? What is it that you're trying to do with this resume to obtain an entry-level human resources position? That's what you're trying to do. You need to state that. Now, your summary statement or profile is a little different from the objective. The objective tells them really and truly what is the pointed thing you want to come away from. Why did you do this resume? But your summary on your resume, is a short paragraph explaining your professional experience and goals. So let's go back. So I can use mine here. And this would be the summary information about the person who's here. So this tells you what have been the general areas of experience and competence and what the person enjoys doing and where they have experience, right? So some examples, some management trainee position with specific retail positions, then you'd want to put, okay, yes, I have worked in the manufacturing industry doing this, managing 2 members of staff, that kind of a thing. You do a quick summary of what is it that you do in your career, generally speaking. So if you find that your leadership is your area of interest and that's where you plan to go into, politics is your area of interest, you want to become a paralegal necessarily, that's also a thing. If you want to be a social media influencer because you want to use online to monetize your skills, that's also a thing, especially nowadays, right? So you would do that quick summary and it would give them an idea. Here's an example of a summary statement. A concierge with 4+ years of experience in luxury hotels who is highly sociable, detail-oriented, and patient. I am proficient at fostering lasting relationships with guests, working with Amadeus, and have a Bachelor of Arts in Hospitality. So this is just something simple that you would use. So you're simply saying who you are, how much experience you've had, and the areas that you have been able to successfully work in. In your education sector, you want to put the name of your institution that you've been a part of, the name of the degree or the major that you've taken, and list them in the chronological, the most recent one first, and then go backwards. As a rule of thumb, guys, if it happened outside of 5 years ago, don't include it. Please don't put your basic school information and your grade 2 information. The only thing, if you got an award and you're really proud of it, so for example, when you did the PEP exam or your GSAT exam, you were a government scholarship awardee, then you can put that in your honors and your awards. Don't put the GSAT and the basic school information. If it happened more than 5 years ago, as a rule of thumb, don't include it on your resume. No, so this is how you would lay it out. Just summarize it. So you put the university or the school, immaculate. I heard some person saying you put immaculate conception here. You would put what you got. If it is that you left in sixth form and you got an associate's degree or a high school diploma, whatever it is, you put that there. And if you were, when you left, you performed really well, you would put the GPA that you got, or you would put how many subjects in and the areas, the CSEC or the CAPE that you would have gotten. Now, you want to also include some work experience. And though you may not have a lot of this at this time, it's very important that you include those summer jobs, those little internships that you've done that showcases what you have been able to do in the space of time that you have been doing it. I'm going to jump over a few things because we can definitely show you some of the examples for ease of reference. So you put the education and you put your relevant, and it's very important, relevant experience. If you're applying for a job in clerical work, you wouldn't want to put things that have no basis on that, because remember, they're measuring you against other candidates. So the only way you include jobs that you may not necessarily contribute to this particular job, there's no skill in that job that could be transferable, is if you don't necessarily have anything else to add. But generally, if you want to go into sales, you want to showcase all the things that you've done that have to do with customer service, sales, speaking to people, and getting that kind of job done. You want to showcase that. Your honors and awards, you order those by dates as well. So reverse chronological again, the most recent one, so the one you got this year, and you go backwards with those. With the honors and awards, you can put as many as you like. So if you got the honor and award in primary school or preparatory school or high school, yeah, man, put it same way. Even if you're in college, put it same way with the honors and the awards. The professional affiliations, often for some of us, is the same as our volunteer work. But for some persons, their professional affiliations are not the same. So if you're going to go into accounting or law, you'll find that some of these persons are registered with specific entities that can say that this person is of a certain standing or is of a certain ilk, so to speak. So you'd want to include that in something like this. So this is in general how you would lay out those pieces of information, and you do it in summary as much as possible. Do you see how many topics have been covered? The objective, education, relevant experience, other experience, and then your honors and any activities that you have been a part of. And that is how you want to do it. Now with your resume, some quick do's and don'ts. Use action verbs. So reading. So use things that suggest that you do something, right? Use short, concise sentences. So if you're describing, how do I put this? Okay, so you'll notice on the sales pitch here, this is describing what the person would have done at Abercrombie and Fitch. They train new employees, they participate, they oversee. So it's showing you that they're doing something. So when you are in these, when you're describing each work experience, you can bullet point what your job function was, and you do it in a quick summary. And then you use the action word so that they can see that it's something that you were required to do. A simple, clean structure that is visible and enticing is something that is really very important. It's easier to read when the thing is clean and it's not all over the place, it's properly formatted, and that kind of things. Use the appropriate symbols, percentages, dollar signs, and number signs, and so on, as you have need of. What you don't put on a resume. You definitely don't use pronouns such as I and me. So you refer to yourself by your surname. Taylor, McCormick, or you can say O'Neill Jones, and so on. So you speak about yourself in the third person. And don't include a reference unless it is asked for. And make sure that you speak to your references before. Why? Because you can have different references for different things. So if there are people who know you better in the service volunteerism, and you can ask Miss Ruth Lawrence to vouch for you. Maybe she may not be the same person that you'd want to use for sales because she probably don't know you in that capacity. So you put the person that can speak to the skills and the abilities that you have for the job. Do not make any misinterpretations, meaning do not assume what you know that the company wants and go and find it, go and check it. Do not include too much personal information. So stay away from putting your religious convictions, put your date of birth and avoid putting your age. Do not put sexual orientations and so on unless those things are specifically asked for. So avoid putting too much personal information, right? Don't put your weight. And if you can, if you're married, even if you are married or not, you don't necessarily need to put the designation Mrs. or so on it. You don't have to, because it becomes a matter of personal preference. They may use that and say, but it's like she has obligations, she may not be able to travel for this job. So to avoid those things, unless you're asked, don't put those things. And of course, don't put the word resume at the top of your resume. Do not put the word resume at the top of your resume, right? And don't ramble on in the statement. We're going to quickly go to the last thing that I want to share with you, apart from the checklist here. And you can take a quick screenshot of this checklist. Simple, clean structure, absolutely no errors. Get somebody else to read it over for you. Uniformity. So please don't start in Times New Roman and then you end up in Calibri or some other fonts. And as a general rule, you don't use curly fonts on your resume. Legible and clean. All right. So you can take a screenshot of this and use quality paper and ink. 1 second. I am having a little bit of an issue in terms of my jumping. All right. So let me screen share again. There we go. I'm sorry to be giving them so much trouble. And I want to share with you that in this dispensation, we all want to get employed. We all want to get jobs, and the job market is looking very, very steep. It's looking, yeah. So some of us are going to have to employ ourselves, and I guess the other speakers will speak on that. However, here are some places that you can look at getting a job. So there's Caribbean Jobs Jamaica. You can go there and they allow you to subscribe and you get updates on different jobs that are available based on what you put in. And LinkedIn. How many people here have a LinkedIn profile? Makina, Talina, Abigail, anybody here has a LinkedIn profile yet? If you don't have a LinkedIn profile and you're hoping to get a job soon, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Go and create a LinkedIn profile as soon as you can and put in, yes, Nathan, I see your hand. One of the best places nowadays to be seen and heard and get access to these opportunities and to read and learn more is on LinkedIn. So you can get a job on LinkedIn. There's also career jobs, and these are all websites we're giving you. You can go check them out right now. There's Splash Jamaica, there's eJam Jobs, there's the Labor Market Information System, and there's I Need a Job Jamaica. So many places. And for those of us who still don't think those are enough, you can also go to Go Jamaica Job Smart and the Sunday Gleaner online. We don't have anything to do in the lockdown. Well, I'm lift the lockdown now. You can go and have a look on the career section, either the hard copy or the soft copy, and you'll be able to do that. And the classifieds in the career section. You can look at those, and then every week they come out with more jobs. There is a point I wanted to make before we get to that. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it. My presentation keeps jumping. But I want to share something. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you before I go. Remember, the sole purpose of doing a resume is to get an interview. If you can't get somebody to call you back, then it's pretty pointless. Once you've gotten that interview, there are some things that you have to remember to ensure that you stand out amongst everyone else, right? Be on time. Know the interviewer's name, know their spelling and the pronunciation. You can ask. So when you see them, you can say to them, could you pronounce your name correctly for me? I would love to be able to refer to you appropriately. That's fine. Make sure you don't refer to them as somebody else. It's quite insulting when we do that. Have some questions of your own. And here are some of the questions you want to ask. Don't go into an interview and ask them, so how much is this job going to pay me? I know you want to know. And there is a way to ask that without asking it quite like that. Remember, you are giving your skill, your service to them, but you also want to know that you're a good fit. So ask them, what is the culture of this organization, so that they can tell you what to expect when you go there? Because apart from doing the work, you're going to have to work with people. You're going to have to work in an environment. Is it high target driven? Is it a team and a family kind of environment? What kind of environment can you expect? So this is one of the questions you can ask. What kind of culture can I expect? So that's one of the questions. You can also ask, why would you want to hire me? Why should I work for you? You can ask that question. You actually can. Based on my resume, where do you see my skills being best suited? That is a question that you can ask. If your manager is in the interview or the person who may become your supervisor, you can ask, what is your leadership style? Those are some of the questions you can ask. And here's how you get an idea of the salary without saying, so how much is this job going to pay me? You can say, what is the expected salary range of staff who tend to get within this kind of position? So there's a way to say it without how much you're going to pay me, right? So you ask them the salary range that is usually offered within this kind of position. But it cannot be your first question, guys. And I'm going to tell you, it's distasteful no matter how you slice it. So You can ask it, but you must find a way to do so in a way that is tasteful and also lets them know that you know what you're about and you know what you want and you know what value you bring to the table. Also, bring several copies of your resume. Have a pen to write things down and greet the interviewer pleasantly and dress the part. No matter the day you've had or are having, they don't need to know that it was a rough day. The opportunity here is going to miss you if you're focusing on what happened and not what is about to happen. Dress the part, dress for where you're going and not where you've been. So if you want to be respected, if you want to be soon seen as the incoming manager, dress that part. Make them say you're extra. Make them say enough. That's okay. It's better to be extra enough than to be short of something, right? Also, spend some time developing rapport in the interview. Don't worry if right away you don't just jump into the business of it. If they are moving slowly, so tell me a little bit about you. And they often say that. Tell me a little bit about you. Work out before they ask you what you want to say. And don't define who you are by just the subjects you have achieved and what you're hoping to achieve academically. Define Abigail. Abigail is kind. Abigail is honest. She's somebody who's passionate about life. You know, they want to hear who you are as a person. It's not a robot that they're hiring. So work out what you want them to think about you as a person, then you can add in the skills and experiences that you have to offer as being who you are. Don't be embarrassed if you're nervous. Nervousness is a sign that it matters. And the more you work at it, the more interviews you do, the better you'll become at the process, and focus on your attributes, your transferable skills, things that you've learned in other spaces that can now be used in this space. Very important to focus on those. Don't focus on all the other candidates that you heard who applied that can't help you. Focus on your willingness to learn quickly and do not apologize for lack of experience. Do not apologize for lack of experience. Say to them, I am a quick learner and I am willing to ensure that whatever task is assigned to me, I'm able to execute it well. Don't apologize for lack of experience. Sometimes I didn't even notice. And describe your strengths in terms of what you can do again for the organization. Last but not least, do not lie on your resume and do not lie in an interview. Do not say you know something that you do not know, because they can find out, especially in this dispensation. Lies and exaggerations definitely come back to haunt you, especially if they're skills. And so, in summary, that is what it is. Print your resume, the front part of your resume on a nice colored parchment paper. Wink, wink, it sets you apart. Thank me later, find a nice parchment paper and print it. Don't send in the resume without the cover letter, and you should be doing pretty well. Are there any questions for me? Any comments, any points? And I know it was a lot of information. I was moving a little quickly. I was doing that because I wanted you to be able to get as much and then ask me whatever you hear. Yes, Malia, I'm seeing the hand, and then I take you, Latoya. Yes, Malia? Not hearing Malia. Not sure what's going on. Latoya, go ahead while she works it out.
How do you set up a
how do you set up a
LinkedIn account or LinkedIn?
A LinkedIn profile? Go on to Google and put in LinkedIn. Click the link that you call that you see come up. It's a social media platform itself. So you go over there and you put in your name, your email address, the same information you put in for any other social media platform. This platform is highly professional though, so work on getting a photo that looks professional as your display shot. Not a selfie, please, a shot. Sit down in front of a blank wall and smile cute if you don't have any professional headshots, and just put in the information. Go on Google and I promise you it's there. Or if you want, I can drop my thing in comments in the chat, and you can give me shoot me a quick email or a social media message, and I will happily guide you through. You want me to do that? All right, I didn't hear you. All right, Gabriella, yes, I'll take your questions. Go ahead. Yes, Gabriella. Mm-hmm.
You were mentioning earlier about setting yourself aside from the rest when it comes to skills and abilities. But let's say someone is making a resume to become a server, and they say that they're detail oriented, that they're hospital, they're a people person. But isn't that what you're kind of expected to be like? It's like saying, I'm not going to get in trouble at school. I'm not going to get any detentions. I'm going to do my homework. So what type of special skills could you put to set yourself apart?
Okay, so first of all, there are some skills that they are looking for. And the only reason you knew that that is what they expect you to say is because you know what the job description is asking for. Somebody who is just copying and pasting a resume that they've sent to everybody would not have all of that detailing. So that's the first thing. Now, apart from just stating what your skills are, sometimes stating your experience doing certain things is what sets you apart. And nowadays, people are interested not just in what you're certified in, but what you can actually do. So if you can say to them, I have managed 3 social media accounts, or you said it's hospitality. If you can say, I have been assisting Pegasus every summer in organizing their guest list at Pegasus, and in those things, say to them, not just are you detail oriented and so on, but that you are actively getting experience in working in the hospitality and service industry. That will set you apart from somebody who does not have that experience. So you want to upsell the things that you have been able to do. So remember, in the first part, you assert that you can do these things, and down the bottom, you prove it by saying, this is what I have done to show that I am detail oriented. I'm a people person. I'm very good at organizing. I'm pleasant. I'm hospitable. I've been working in this industry. Or if you did a project, for example, that required you to do a lot of that, you can state that you were the hospitality chair of that project, and this project was very successful. And they can always call the president to find out, right? So that's how you do that. Did I answer your question? Okay, I hope I did. Okay, great. All right, guys. So I've been told that we need to move on, and it has been a great pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Send the questions, please, to @YouthJamaica on the id, and I will be happy to answer them. I have also posted my Instagram information. It's here also on the screen, and you can go ahead and follow me, and I'll be happy to answer you as soon as I can. There are a lot of us in the room, but if you follow me, shoot me a message or send a message to the Youth Jamaica group. They'll definitely get in contact with me, and I'd be happy to do that. Again, we also have a company that can help you to do these preparations, your resume writing and your interview techniques. We give consultative advice on those things, and I'd be happy to do that for you and with you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and I hope we're able to learn something from the presentation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Teresa Taylor. I'm sure that everybody you know is going to edit and dust up the resume. I thought that I had a great resume, but after that presentation, I have to go back and revisit how to make my resume successful. Thank you so much, Miss Taylor. Again, I know persons now are ready for that interview. They're ready to go out there with a proper resume and just to make them job ready. That was Mrs. Teresa Taylor, the Manager of Legal Affairs and Communication at the Institute of Law and Economics. Now, after that presentation, I know persons were writing and making their notes, so let's put that to the test. We're going to list 3 things that can make your resume successful. List 3 things that can make your resume successful. You're going to win a meal voucher. So I'm waiting. The Jeopardy theme song. Doom, 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 doom. Annalisa. All right, Annalisa, you're the winner of the first meal voucher. What was the response? Oh, you're going to talk, so bring up Annalisa so she can respond.
Would love to hear the answer from you.
Who else? Annalisa. Mm-hmm. You can unmute yourself, yeah?
So, the things in writing a successful resume, you want to ask yourself a few questions. What would make someone the perfect candidate? What does the employer really want? And then you want to have a good strategy, meaning that you read carefully and gather hints from the ad and what you saw and what led to this organization.
Yeah.
Then you also want to sell yourself, meaning that in the first 2 lines of your resume, it is critical. You have like 10 to 20 seconds, and all that time you have to persuade the employer to lead further to them hiring you.
All right, great, Annalisa Keaton. All right, thank you so much for that. You're the first winner of our meal voucher. You can just put a round of applause in the chat. All right, we're going to... What we're doing next, Christina?
We're moving right into our second presenter, Miss Karen Scott. She'll be speaking about e-commerce, online businesses, and she's from Manage Yourself app, Group Digital Business Manager. And we're just inviting you guys to just remind your friends that we're still on, we're still live, we're still here, the vibes is still nice and still right. And we have all the information that you need on social entrepreneurship and how it is that you can start your own business that solves social problems. So please drop the link in your chat, text your friend them on WhatsApp, at them on Instagram or Twitter, and have them come over and join us. We're moving right into Miss Karen Scott's presentation. Only 20 minutes, but it will be packed with valuable information. Miss Karen Scott?
Hi. Good day, everyone. Good day. I'm hoping that everyone is doing well. And after that presentation from Mrs. Taylor just now, there's certainly a lot that we definitely would want to learn, not only when it comes to preparing our resume to be able to, go get a job, but sometimes, we need to put together things in order to be able to serve ourselves as well and create opportunities for ourselves. Or with the advent of COVID and just more companies looking to go the route of e-commerce, the truth of the matter is that more and more businesses need e-commerce managers. And we're definitely seeing a big ask for a lot of businesses to have e-commerce managers. So I'm going to be let me go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to be giving you a presentation on e-commerce that is going to guide you through, in terms of just giving you a brief overview of e-commerce, trying to give you the essence of what e-commerce is all about. We certainly won't be able to get through much more than that within the time frame that we do have, but certainly we want to be able to let me just make sure I see the chat. Excellent, so that I can see everyone that is talking to me. So we're going to go through e-commerce, and I'm going to give you some suggestions in the Jamaica space of where we can go in order to be able to do e-commerce. So just a little bit about me, just to let you know who I am real quick. I consider myself a conversion hunter. I actually have been working in marketing for a long time, right? A long time, a good little while. But specifically in the digital marketing space, I have been working for over 6 years. And I am the group digital business manager for the My Ssl app for all of Digicel's 32 markets. And I'm also an adjunct lecturer at Karen Mac. I do have an MBA in management information systems and a bachelor's degree when it comes to marketing. Now, and of course, I am Google certified. So getting into the presentation for today, I want to ask a few people first and foremost, what do they know about e-commerce? So I see some persons here I'm going to ask to unmute and see if it is a case where they're going to be able to answer my questions. So let me go first with Adriel. Adriel, can I ask you to unmute your mic and tell me, what do you know about e-commerce? All right, I'm not hearing from Adriel. So I'm going to see some persons in the chat say online business. So Mahalia says online business. Latanya says using social media platforms to basically exchange one's goods and services. Interesting, Latanya. Anyone else wants to give it a go? Vashti says buying and selling of goods and services, or online generally. You can go ahead and put your comments in the chat. Vernon says e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods. How it looked, Vernon, like you take this straight off of Google, right? It's a buying and selling of goods and services, or the transmission of funds or data over an electronic network, primarily the internet. So these business transactions occur either as business to business, business to consumer, consumer to consumer, or consumer to business. Vernon, it looks like you need to go teach this to me, right? You need to go through this and teach me in turn. we won't get as detailed in going into the BTC and the CTB and all of that stuff, but thank you so much. That is very detailed. Mahalia says commercial transactions conducted electronically on the internet. Romario says drop shipping. Very interesting, Romario. Too true. Drop shipping does include, e-commerce in the concept of what e-commerce is all about. But rather, drop shipping is more so a way in terms of fulfilling the e-commerce product that the person is purchasing from you. And, Ramel says e-commerce is basically the buying and selling of goods and services online. Macadia says buying and selling of goods and services online as well. Jim, I can't pronounce your name, Jimmy, I'm not sure. He says the flipping of goods for a higher price. We're gonna see if that is the case. And also, King Camo says this is basically an online market, and there are quite a few other comments that came in here. So some of you are spot on in terms of what e-commerce is all about, and some of you are missing it just a little bit. So let's go through and see what e-commerce is all about, all right? Now, e-commerce really is the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet. That is the very basic of e-commerce, at its most fundamental level. And someone in one of the definitions that they would have said, says the transaction of goods or services. And sometimes these goods or services don't necessarily have to be physical goods. And sometimes persons don't always remember that. They always think, okay, e-commerce is where, I buy a shirt or I buy shoes or something like that, and then I pay for it. But what they don't understand is that some persons may choose to buy a course, right? Some persons may choose to buy a download that you're giving them. So there's so many opportunities that exist for us when it comes to the e-commerce space, and make sure that you are capitalizing on all of these opportunities. So we'll call it electronic commerce sometimes, we'll call it e-business sometimes, but most people kind of call it e-commerce, right? So we know that it is the process of buying and selling, but we don't know that it sometimes involves not a buy or sell, but almost like a barter, a transferring or exchanging of products and services, right? And that's something that we also need to take into consideration. And an e-commerce website is really a site that sells products and services through means of a data transfer and funds over the internet, okay? So when we look at e-commerce websites, I would say to you, e-commerce websites are very simple at its essence. It can get very complex when you start getting into things like the payment gateways and all of this, but at its most simplest version, it is a very simple concept that we as young persons, and I'm like Miss Taylor, I still stuck at 21, 22, right? And funny enough, today is my birthday, so I'll tell you guys, I am 21 today, right? But so many of us, we want to understand e-commerce, but we don't understand that really and truly in its simplest of versions, it is really a very simple concept. And so it is pretty much like when you go to the store, you go to the wholesale, right? You go to the supermarket, right? And you buy something, it kind of functions in the same way. But the only thing is that it operates in a digital way. So somebody is going to pay money and somebody is going to give goods or services. Now, this is where some persons kind of get a little confused, because there is a fundamental difference between an e-commerce website and a marketplace. And a lot of persons don't know that difference. So an e-commerce website really is an independent website where, of course, people can do e-commerce transactions. And many of them are built using a lot of different e-commerce platforms that are popular, like Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, etc. Right? And we'll talk a little bit about those. And then you have marketplaces, which is very, very different, where you have basically a third-party site that includes product listings from a host of sellers. So sometimes we don't always take into consideration that e-commerce is, while the overall overarching things about e-commerce is really includes e-commerce websites and marketplaces, we'll have marketplaces around there, so right, that really is something that we can capitalize on. And the good thing about marketplaces is that it makes it very easy for persons to kind of start and get on, whereas with e-commerce, sometimes it can be a little more of a struggle of sorts. So some of the examples are like Amazon, right? Which we're familiar with. A lot of persons don't think, they say, oh, but Amazon is an e-commerce website. Yes, to some extent, but really and truly, Amazon is a marketplace. Etsy, you know, eBay, all of these are marketplaces, all right? So I had to put this example in here because we are representing the Ministry of Education today. So I had to come back with something government related. So a lot of you may or may not know that TAJ's website is one of a very reputable e-commerce website locally, right? You could go on TAJ's website and you can pay for different goods and services that TAJ has, right? So you get a ticket, right? You can't go on and go pay it. There are other things as well that they're expanding that you can pay on TAJ's website. Businesses can do things with the taxes and pay stuff on TAJ's website. So if you want to probably have an example of really a good case scenario of how an e-commerce website works in the Jamaican space, I'm not going to call up any brands, but I'm going to direct you straight back to the government and say, check out TAJ's website. So some of the components of e-commerce websites are really what people struggle with because they want to know, so how does it all kind of put together? And there's some main components that make e-commerce work. So one of the first ones is going to be the fact that we need a website. And it might sound like, but yeah, duh, we need a website, of course. But really and truly, think about the website in the sense that you need a domain. You need some place that people can type in and they land on the World Wide Web. And that's the reason why we kind of put that at the fundamental level. We need a website. Then we need a storefront. So thank you very much for those that have shared happy birthday to me in the chat. We need a storefront. So a storefront, really and truly, imagine, you know, when you go Leeds, Fifth Avenue and Halfway Tree, or you go elsewhere, you see a nice, pretty storefront, right? Where it is that you can browse and see the things. E-commerce kind of functions in the same way. When you go onto these websites, you just go in and you're able to have a nice, pretty layout. It's usually in a grid format. So you have one thing here, then you have another thing here, then you have another one over there that you can see exactly what it is that you want to buy. And that is actually a requirement of most e-commerce websites where there needs to be like a product image and a product description and these kind of things, and it gives you that storefront look. Another one is the product information, right? So product information is absolutely critical because that's kind of how we know what we know. Then you have shopping cart, you have checkout page, you also have this thing called SSL, which is a safe shopping technology that allows us to be comfortable to put our credit card, Visa, debit card, whatever information it is online and kind of don't hold the belly and frighten and say, oh God, the people are going to get tea from me. No, because of Ssl certificates, we are able to comfortably shop online. And then you have payment gateways as well, which are critical components of e-commerce because naturally, the money have to kind of exchange, right? Have to come from over here, go over here. So these are some of the fundamental components of e-commerce websites. And we're going to just detail a little bit into going to them a little bit. So with a storefront, as I mentioned before, it is an e-commerce solution. And one of the questions I always am asked a lot of the times by a lot of persons who try to, okay, I have a website, or I can build a website, I can get a website somewhere, right? Can create a website. Can I just add on the e-commerce? No, because there is some functionality on the back end of e-commerce platforms that allow you to be able to do e-commerce how it's supposed to be done. And all of this is integrated with a storefront. So you really need a separate platform. It can be within your website or it can be added to your website, but it's not so simple to say, oh, I have a website, I can just put some products on my website and sell them. No, you need to have a solution, an e-commerce solution that is able to integrate with your website and give you the e-commerce functionality on the back end. And all of that is tied up with the storefront. So the storefront at the end of the day is the front end that displays it in the nice grids that we want to see. And the back end is displaying it, is giving you all of the functionality in the back that allows you to know when people make orders and then go ahead and fulfill these orders. All right. So you also need product information. And a lot of persons say, hey, product information. What's that? Romari, I see your question about Shopify. We're gonna come to that. We're gonna discuss the local Jamaica context. So product information is displayed in a lot of places on your website. There are things like, your descriptions and photos, videos of your product. Pretty much once it tells you something about your product, guess what? It is considered product information. Testimonials are product information. Reviews are product information, right? It doesn't matter what you have. Once it's giving people more information about the product, it's product information. And there are very strong statistics out there that say that one of the reasons why a lot of people don't buy something from you is because your product information is poor. So that is for those of you that are interested in starting your own e-commerce shop. I would say to you that really getting all of the product information. If you can sell something within a marketplace or on a website somewhere, you don't just want one picture from the front. You want the picture from the front, the picture from the side, the picture from on top. You want to put it against a wall. You want to probably put it, outdoors, give it good sunlight, these kind of things. So you want to be able to arm people with as much product information as possible so that they can make a decision about the product or service that you are selling. Then you have the shopping cart. And the shopping cart kind of functions like your shopping cart at the supermarket. You can put in things, you can take out things, you can look through and say, okay, I have 2 bread, all right, we have 3 tuna, I have 6 mackerel, okay, I have a whole chicken. The same way how you have these things in your shopping cart and you can look down in your shopping cart and see that these things are there, it's kind of how the online shopping cart functions, because you can go add in, you can take out something, you can put 2 in there, multiply it by 5 if you want 5 pieces of the same thing, and then it gives you a rough total, right, at the end of the day of what it is that you want. So, or what is your total for all of the products that you have. Now, the checkout page is where people start to get frightened, right? And don't be afraid of the checkout page. It is simple. All the checkout page really does is gather all of the information that is needed for the checkout process so that at the end of the day, they can have a seamless process with the checkout. So think of the checkout page as like the online version of getting an actual kind of receipt. So imagine like they're kind of tabulating it and you can see it on the shop, the cash register of sorts. The checkout page kind of is this, but they're asking you for more information than that. So they're asking you things like, what is your billing address? They're asking you things, where do you want the information shipped to? They're asking you, what is your credit card information? It's like the cashier at the supermarket saying, how are you going to pay? Are you going to pay cash or card, right? These kind of things. It's the same concept with the checkout page, so don't get scared of it. Now, I have to talk about Ssl certificates because it is absolutely critical. And Ssl certificates are not something that you should get afraid of. And I want to be able to have somebody win some credit, right? Because I love to give away credit, and I want to give away some credit today to anybody that can possibly tell me, right? How do we know whether an Ssl certificate is on a website or not? So the first person that can tell me out and out whether or not there is an Ssl certificate on the website, and how do we know that when we go onto a website, please go ahead and tell me, type it in the chat and tell me. The first person that can tell me that, I see the hands being raised, but I need you to put it in the chat. All right. So some person said the padlock at the top. They have another piece to that story. The padlock, and I'm seeing some things, but I'm not seeing the 2 things that I'm looking for together. So there's nobody so far that has it right. So I'm waiting. All right, Zonne, you are the winner. Zonne, message me privately with your phone number, right? And also which network. I hope it is the bigger, better network, right? And please message me privately and I will send you that credit right away, because Zani is 100% right with her answer. So somebody, let me go on to just a random website. I'm going to go on to Amazon. And one of the things that we see on Amazon, right, is this. You see the padlock at the top here, okay? That padlock is how we know. We can even go to the extent of seeing who issued the Ssl certificate here. And also, if we look at the URL has an S associated with it. So it's not HTTP ... it's HTTPS, right? So that S and also the padlock together denotes that it's an Ssl certificate. So in short, the Ssl certificate, it is really the standard technology for keeping an internet connection. Sorry, there my computer didn't have it displayed right. All right. So it is the standard technology for keeping an internet connection secure and safeguarding any sensitive data that is being sent between two systems, right? So it prevents the criminals from reading all your credit card information, right? And all your billing information, so them don't turn up at your house. So it does this by making sure that any data that is transferred between users and sites, they're really impossible to read because they're encrypted. Okay, so then we have the payment gateway. The payment gateway is another critical part of this whole thing, because this is where the money, you put in the credit card information and then something happens on the back end and then it come back and say that, I don't know, the transaction was done. But in between that, you have the payment gateway. So a payment gateway at the end of the day allows you to be able to enter your credit card or your debit card information and have the payment authorized. There's a lot of communication that happens. Sometimes it go all the way to Visa, then verify, go to your bank, then verify. There's a lot of verifications that happen literally in less than 3 seconds. But the payment gateway facilitates all of this. And when it is that we talk about the payment gateway, imagine it is like the cash register. Once you type in that, and the cash register gets all the information that you have for all your groceries, and then she gives you the total and all of that. It's kind of how to pay, and she puts in the money and takes back out the money. It's kind of how it works. So e-commerce, in terms of how it works, is pretty simple. A potential customer goes to an e-commerce website, they browse what they want, they add it to the shopping cart. Then after that, the shopper is going to complete the checkout process. They're going to finalize the transaction. And then the shopper's credit card information is going to be, they're going to put that in. That information is going to be encrypted and is going to be sent to the payment gateway to handle the credit card processing very securely and very remotely. After that happens, the order is going to be complete once it comes back saying that it is approved, and they say, yes, Karen, have the money in her account, and the payment has now gone through, and the website most of the time is going to estimate and say your item was shipped in a rough period of X to Y days, right? And then you get a transaction number that you can always use to trace back that transaction. And also sometimes you will get a postal tracking number. So the postal tracking number though usually comes when it is that they take the order now, and then either the team, whether it's a third-party team or an in-house team, goes ahead and fulfills the order and ships it. Then you get the postal tracking number. So how to start e-commerce? I have basically listed some of the tools here to start e-commerce. And I will admit to you, e-commerce does come at a cost. There is actually no tool that will do e-commerce for you and allow you to have an e-commerce shop without there being a cost incurred as a result of it. So I want you to understand that that is a fundamental. Some people do it in different ways. Almost every single e-commerce platform that you use will take a percentage of how much it is that is for the transaction. So usually that percentage is somewhere in around the 3% to the 5% range. But every single e-commerce platform, they take a percentage of the transaction. In addition to that, sometimes you require a subscription or other things. So some of the freer ones, I would say, if you want to get started, Big Cartel is one that persons definitely use. Big Cartel, you can have up to 5 products and you can add those for free and have your shop up for free and it does work for the Jamaica context, right? So you definitely can have that. You also have Wix. Wix is a very popular one that a lot of persons may or may not know about. I think a lot of you know about because of the ads, but it's free to build on Wix, but it is not free to sell on Wix. So you have to take that into consideration as well, right? Next up, I'm going to come out of presentation mode because I'm not sure what's happening on my computer here. So then you have Shopify. Shopify is another very popular one, right? That a lot of people wonder about. I will say to you, Shopify does work very well for the initial context of a smaller business. Once it is you start scaling your business, you have to start thinking about tax and where you're going to pay tax and where you're going to pay tax. And you may not reach there as yet, but it's something that you have to kind of consider in choosing the platforms. And a lot of the Shopify backends are more so geared for US tax systems. So I would say, go ahead, start the Shopify shop. But one thing you have to know is that the basic Shopify subscription is roughly about, how much is it? I think it's about $20-something, $24 US at the end of the day that you actually pay for the platform on a subscription basis. So you have a free trial at first, but you have to pay. WooCommerce is an add-on to WordPress. So it's not a platform in and of itself that you can just go onto WooCommerce and set up, right? It is simply a case where you actually have to go ahead and you have to build a WordPress website. Then you have to add WooCommerce as a plugin. And I will say to you, I literally did a website this week and added WooCommerce to it. And I will say to you that WooCommerce, in some cases, depending on the plugins you use, are not applicable for Jamaica, unfortunately. So, but there's some plugins for WooCommerce that are applicable for Jamaica. So you kind of have to look and see which are the plugins that you get for WooCommerce to add to your existing WordPress website in order to make sure that you are able to go ahead and sell these products online in the Jamaica context. Trying to navigate to my next slide. 1 second, let me just go back into presentation mode. And then you have local marketplaces. And I put these marketplaces on here because I think it's a place where people always think, oh, I need my own website. And that's the only way I can start e-commerce. But you can start your e-commerce business by using a marketplace that already exists without necessarily having to go through the headache of building a website, doing all of the functionality of e-commerce and all of that. So Shopping JA is a popular one that enough people might know. Then you have Jam Deal, which is another one. And I've put links in here. You can Google these and you can find these. Jamaica Classified Online is another one that persons might know. And of course, you have the Facebook Marketplace, which is real simple. If you want to go to Facebook Marketplace, it's super, super simple to get on there. You just go straight, you Google Facebook Marketplace. Let me just give you an example really quick of it. You just Google Facebook Marketplace. And once you just click into Facebook here, and this is the marketplace. All right. So you can see various things. People sell phones, them sell hair, all manner of things. And this is going to be localized for your context based off of your geographic zone. All right. So you can't really have the Facebook Marketplace kind of in it for I would say selling something in Canada, for example. Okay, so it's going to be based on the local context. So one of the things that I may not have mentioned that a lot of persons may wonder about is why Karen never mentioned Amazon. So Amazon released and they came out a few months ago and they said that they are willing and ready and they are now accepting sellers from Jamaica. But stick a whole heap of pin. Because when you go through the Amazon process, and if you want more details on it, Yannick Page actually did a very detailed article in the Gleaner some months ago about it. And you can try it yourself. It works well getting to a certain point. But the problem is that there's still not on the Amazon backend, there's still not integration with the banks in Jamaica. So you can only set up a banking account in the US, right? Which kind of is like, but so how it really works. So I think they have some things solved, but there still are some other hindrances that are there. So that is part of the reason why you will not see Amazon on my slides until that gets worked out. Because in reality, if myself or yourself or any average person that is out there, right, you want to go ahead and you want to just set it up and have things come into your bank account, this is a problem. Some persons are mentioning PayPal. Some persons might mention Stripe, and I'm going to be very honest with you about PayPal and Stripe. PayPal and Stripe are payment gateways. A lot of payment gateways out there. First Atlantic Commerce is actually, you can check them out. They're actually the most popular one this is a payment gateway that all of the banks in the Caribbean use, right? They are the gold partner that they kind of work with. And so the bank has a merchant account and they work with First Atlantic Commerce to do the payment gateway in order to process the transactions. All right, so you can check out First Atlantic Commerce if you want to find out more information, but you still have to go through your bank if you're going to go to First Atlantic Commerce, okay? So just a heads up. Now, back to PayPal and Stripe. PayPal and Stripe are payment gateways that you can use. For Stripe, you have to have a social security number, which means at the end of the day, it just don't work for the average Jamaican, right? And the average Caribbean person, right? And then the second thing is that you also, when you think about PayPal you can work with, but the problem with PayPal, so PayPal is easy to set up, it's easy to add to your website. However, the problem with PayPal's payment gateway, not the payment gateway, but PayPal itself, is that you cannot get back your money from the PayPal account and send it to a Jamaican account, your bank account. So the issue is that a lot of persons with PayPal, their money is stuck, right, in the US. It's stuck, right, in an account in PayPal. And the only way they're able to use the money is by actually using that same PayPal account to pay for things online. So if you think that for your business, all the money that you would earn from your business, you can basically use that money to then pay for additional stock or other things online, then PayPal might work out really great for you. There are a few, and I haven't fully checked them out because a lot of them are very new. Still checking them out. There are a few businesses that are popping up that are allowing you to convert your PayPal money from online to your bank account. And I haven't fully been able to understand, and I've reached out to some of them and I haven't fully been able to understand how they're making it work, how above the board it is or not. And so I'm not going to advocate that here, but I will say if you want to go ahead and check that out for yourself, feel free to go ahead and check it out for yourself and see if that is an option that works for you. But yes, Romario, you are 100% right in saying that PayPal is an issue because you can't sell the goods and everything, but you can't get your money and use it to pay your light bill. And that is a problem at the end of the day. All right. So think about and understand the context first. Also, real quick tip before I leave, a lot of people, if it is a case, let's say, for example, I have a hair company, right? And I sell, I don't know, natural hair products because I'm a naturalista, right? So don't mind the little silk press, right? I'm a naturalista. So the truth of the matter, if I sell in some little natural products and thing, and I want at the end of the day to be basically have an online store, a lot of persons don't understand that if I sell you it, the price I have it is for, let's quote US dollars to make it easy, right? $20 US, right? Which when you multiply that by 150, that's about what? 3,000 Jamaican dollars, something around there, right? And if you're selling that for 3,000 Jamaican dollars, you say, okay, that's roughly 20 US, and you put it online and you say, all right, I want to have, put this online for 20 US. There are things you're missing. One, you have to take into account the percentage that you have to pay your payment gateways, PayPal, you have to pay WooCommerce or whoever is your provider at the end of the day, whether it's Shopify or whoever for e-commerce, you have to pay them a percentage. So you have to add up all of those percentages, right? Worse, if you're going to go through the bank as well, you're going to have a next percentage, all right? So you have to think about these things. Then you have to think about packaging costs, right? Think about packaging costs. Also, remember to let the persons know that there is a cost to ship it, whether even if it's locally or not, you have to go there and deliver it to people. So there's a cost to actually deliver that, so you have to take that into consideration in your shipping costs. So these are some of the things that you have to take into consideration. And finally, Make sure you always have terms and conditions, refund policy, shipping policy made explicitly clear on any e-commerce platform that you choose to build. Because guess what? The laws that are applicable in a lot of these cases are not necessarily based off of the geographical context of your shop. The laws that can be applied is from where persons are purchasing from. So somebody buying in the US, right, and having a problem with your business and your e-commerce shop, they can use US law to apply to that situation. You don't want to catch yourself in that situation. So thank you very much. I don't know if there are any questions that any of you may have for me, but now is the time to ask them. Thank you so much for the presentation, and I hope you learned a lot. I packed it in and kept it very tight, but I hope you certainly learned a lot.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Karen Scott. That was a very informative presentation. And I know if anybody have questions, you can just submit them on Instagram at Youth Jamaica, and we'll reach out to Miss Scott and provide those answers. But we're going into a very important presentation from 4-H. We're going to talk about agriculture or agri-processing. And I know persons, especially in the rural parishes, they want to know about this. And not just that, you have to stay for our goodie bags. So we have some goodie bags here. So we're going to ask some questions and give those away also. We're going to invite Mrs. Villette Kelly Bennett to come to us and talk about agri-processing and agriculture. And she is the development manager at 4-H. Welcome, Mrs. Bennett. Mr. Nick with us? All right.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, and I'm also seeing you.
Great, great. All right. So thanks for having us. I'm trying to share my screen here. Trying to share my screen. Give me 1 second, please. All right, here we go. All right. So I just want to thank you first for inviting us to this very dynamic session. The Ministry of Education, Social Entrepreneurship Virtual Show. I hope you're now hearing and seeing properly. Yes, the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, we are excited to be a part of this. So in spite of COVID restricting us from meeting physically, thank God, we have platforms like Zoom that can allow us to still communicate and share. And so I just want to share with the viewers today some of the programs that the Jamaica 4-H Clubs has that our young persons as early as age 5 up to 35 years old can participate in. The Jamaica 4-H Clubs, we are the youth hub for youth in agriculture programs in Jamaica. And we support young persons through various initiatives, training, enterprise development, developing leadership skills, school gardens, agri-education, providing them with access to technology, and it's all aimed at increasing the production and productivity of agriculture in Jamaica. Today, I'm going to just share quickly with you some of our key initiatives that our young persons can gain access to as they plan for their career. And I want to start with our Youth Enterprise Program. Our Youth Enterprise Program supports young persons at 2 levels, at age 17 and lower, and age 18 up to 35 years old. And let me start with one of the exciting initiatives under the Youth Enterprise Program, REAP. And that is dubbed RYEEP, and it means Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program. The Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program, we started that program back in 2016, and we have, by extension, expanded that program to include our REAP Starter that supports young persons who are merely starting their agribusinesses, while REAP Builder seeks to support those who have started but needs strengthening. And so through the REAP Builder and the REAP Starter program, young persons are able to access 3 key supports. 1, training, and training is done at 2 levels. Well, I should say 3 levels. 1, the REAP program partners with HEART, NSTA, and provides personal development skills, or we call it life skills. And that is really aimed at positioning our young persons to prepare for the world of entrepreneurship and how to deal with key issues such as conflict management, stress management, and being more aware of their civic needs and entrepreneurship training. And the business and entrepreneurship training is aimed at helping our young persons to see farming as a business and also to plan accordingly for such a business so it can be viable. Basically, let me break it down, so it can make money. Yes? So when I was growing up, yes, my father made money, but I think if he was doing it in a different way, in a more structured way, then of course, I'm sure he'll be able to make much more. And so we want our young persons to not only see agriculture as mere production, but we want them to see the myriad of opportunities that the sector offers: production, livestock development, agro-processing, and I should further say value-added agriculture. Because oftentimes we limit agro-processing to just making of the juices and the jams, etc. But it's more. You can actually do dried fruits, dried herbs. You can actually package or repackage an existing product. And so it provides you with an opportunity. And so when we think of agriculture, I want our young persons, as you explore ideas to start, you may consider along the agricultural value chain, from the point of producing or providing the seeds, the seedlings, feed, packaging, or you can actually produce the crop, grow the livestock, and then you can move further into packaging or processing, adding value. And each time you move up the value chain and add value, then naturally you can make more money. And so through these training activities, we expose our young persons to the many opportunities. Now, what's interesting is that not only do we provide you with training and exposing you to these opportunities, but we also provide you with venture inputs. Now, you would remember that I stated earlier that we have two components to REAP, REAP Builder and REAP Starter 1000. REAP Builder provides support up to $100,000, while REAP Starter provides support up to $50,000. And so our young persons, having been trained and gaining another certificate, then they also get the inputs to start their business. And having received the inputs, we move up, I should say, another step up the ladder by providing some level of hand-holding support. And so we will help you to not only start, but to help you to put systems in place that can help your business to grow, to be sustainable, and of course, help you with creating networking or marketing relationships. Yes? In addition to the REAP program, we also provide persons 17 and younger with livestock and crop enterprise development support. Or you're not seeing my video or my presentation, I am so sorry. I do realize that I have been popping in and out. All right. I'm gonna just try to correct this. My apologies. And I don't want to take up too much time either. So let's see if we can go here again. Trying to share my screen here. Start now. All right. All right, here we go. I'm gonna just ask you, anyone, just to put a thumbs up. Oh my Lord. I'm having challenges. May I use your system, please? May I use your system?
All right, so while Mistress Villette Kelly Bennett has her technical difficulties resolved, we're just going to move into a little credit giveaway at this time. So let me see who has the quick fingers. All right, so let's try with Flo. So 12, well, of course, star 121 star 12 7976 9509 8842. Again, star 121 star 12 7976 9509 8842. Who's the lucky winner? Someone are gonna give another one. We're gonna give another one. Layton got it. All right, big up yourself, Layton. Quick fingers right there. All right, did you sell? Star 121 star 71256 1244 0289. Again, star 121 star 71256 1244 0289. Number sign. Anyone got that? Are we moving right into another one? Really quickly, did you sell again?
Ayana?
Ayana got it. All right. Big up yourself, Ayana. Moving right into another one. Did you sell? Star 121 star 1 4778 8710 6196. Star 121 star 1 4778 8710 6196.
Right.
Pound send. Who got that? Nobody didn't get it?
Yeah, waiting.
McKenna, big up yourself, McKenna. I love it. Your young people, them are the fast starts because they're absorbing all the knowledge here at our social entrepreneurship fair, but they're also have the quick fingers to get their credits and the giveaways. All right, so is Mrs. Kelly Bennett back? No. All right, so we're moving right into our final presentation for this afternoon, which is Mr. Jason Jacket as well as Mr. O'Neill Jones. And they're presenting on youth entrepreneurship and training opportunities, and they're both recruitment officers from Heart Trust NSTA. Mr. Jones and Mr. Jacket?
And I hear that scholarships are gonna, be distributed as well.
Right, so there's scholarships and grants to be offered. So please, guys, stay on because this is a grand opportunity. And there's still time to call your friends, still time to call your cousin. Everybody to come on because this is a grand opportunity. Mr. Jones and Mr. Jacket, both recruitment officers from Heart Trust NSTA.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having us. Just a quick correction there. My name is Jason Jacket. I am the recruitment officer, Mr. O'Neill Jones. He is the MSME and enterprise specialist in the apprenticeship unit. So just that correction. Mr. Jones is the MSME entrepreneurship specialist. And here he is joining us.
Thank you so much for that correction.
Great, no problem. All right, so we're going to get started. Yes, so it is indeed our pleasure to partner with the Ministry of Education to be a part of this exciting and tremendous idea to bring our young entrepreneurs all in one space, despite our current challenge and shortcomings as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I see you have saved the best for last because indeed we'll be giving and telling you how you can access these grants as young entrepreneurs. But before you get to those grants, let me take you through some of our training programs that will excite you because it is very important as entrepreneur, technical and vocational education and training plays an essential role in improving the well-being of our youths and communities. It increases productivity and empowers individuals to become self-reliant and stimulate entrepreneurship. So training plays a very critical role. Now, how do you access our training? First, we should note that Heart is in every parish in Jamaica. You can find a Heart training institution in our 14 parishes. In fact, we have 31 institutions and 78 community projects across Jamaica. Now, a very important point to note is that all our programs are approved and accredited by NCTVET and UCJ, the University Council of Jamaica. Now, how do we choose what programs or what training do we offer to the general public? We are guided by Vision 2030. And as such, we have taken into consideration some critical components in terms of sectors: the agriculture, construction, the creative industry, ICT, manufacturing, services, and tourism. Now, in terms of accessing our training, it is quite simple. The first requirement is that you must be at least 17 years of age. You must own a TRN, and once you have those two requirements, you're well on your way to accessing any one of our training. Now, how do you access our training? Our training can be accessed from our website at www.heartnsta.org or our newest, the Heart on the Go app. I repeat, Heart NSTA Trust as an app in the Android and the iOS App Store. You can go ahead and download our app, and our app will give you all our information about our programs or services and how you can access those grants, how you can access our training. It's very inclusive, very extensive in terms of information you can find on our app. We have a parish office in all 14 parishes, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can access our training. Whether you're in St. Thomas or you're in Westmoreland, you can always find a Heart in whichever parish you are at. Now, what are some of the programs we have for our young persons? We have our traineeship program. We have our volunteerism and mentorship. We have the adults continuing education, and we also offer career services. Now, under the traineeship program, we have what you call the Registered Apprenticeship Program, RAP for short. The requirement is that you must be 17 years of age, and we have three components. We have the entry level, which is for persons with at least just one CXC pass, any one CXC pass. And let me point, this is a training program that is done on the job. Training program that you can access while you're on the job. So any one CXC that you have, and you are 17 or older and you have a TRN, you are qualified. You can be a part of our Registered Apprenticeship Program. We have the intermediate level and the advanced level. At the intermediate level, 2 or more CXC subjects, and at the advanced level, at least a level 3 certification, and you are at the intermediate level. And we also have the graduate level, which is for persons within our university associate degree level and above. We also have the National Service Corps, which is for young persons between the ages 17 to 29, with whether or not you're qualified, whether or not you have completed high school, but once you have an interest in being attached to a formal training program, once you have, I see a question coming in, but we'll take the questions at the end, if that's okay. So once you have an interest in being a part of a formal training program, you can be a part of the National Service Corps. And the duration is for 6 months to a year. And this can be utilized to gain valuable work experience. So young persons just leaving high school without subjects, this program would be ideal for you in terms of making a determination as it relates to what industry best suits you. What is it that you'd want to do? Come to Heart, and we will find a program for you. We have trained career development officers who can assist in choosing or assist in assisting you in choosing a career for you. And here at Heart, we are very inclusive. We try and include everyone. And speaking of such, we have our empowerment program. The empowerment program is for persons with a mild to severe intellectual or physical disability. So yes, we include everyone. So whether or not you're able-bodied or you're disabled, we can find a program for you. So we have the empowerment program for disabled persons. And again, we won't just put them out there in the world of work. We provide our disabled persons with a job coach, someone who will be there to guide them, to assist them along the process. And we also have the Graduate Work Experience Program. The Graduate Work Experience Program is for university graduates who are trying to enter the world of work, but is limited in terms of their years of experience that employers are asking for. So what we do straight out of university, you get enrolled to this program and we placed you in a job. The duration is for 6 months. While on the job, you will be paid and you have an opportunity to be coached while you're on the job. We also have the adult continuing education, which allows persons who would have left high school, who would have left the formal education system without any CXC passes or City and Guilds. We have a program where you can access up to 5 CXC subjects for absolutely free. And yes, let me repeat, it is absolutely free. There is no cost attached to being a part of our adult continuing education program, the high school diploma equivalency program, HSDE for short. We also offer career services. So yes, you want to get into the world of work. Yes, you want to start your business. Come to us. We can assist you in the first step, preparing your resume, writing your application. What you do after you have completed your training. We have trained persons to assist you. And once you have decided what you want to do, we have the MSME department that will assist in providing grants to assist you in starting your business. Hence, my colleague, Mr. Jones, is going to take you through the process of how do you access these grants? What are the benefits of completing training? And how can these grants be beneficial to you? Thank you. Mr. Jones?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Jason, you hear me? All right, great.
Yes.
All right, my job is fairly simple. I'm just going to use a few minutes to just tell you about other things Art is basically doing. The great things Art is doing outside of training. You know, a large part of the Jamaica population actually believe that the only thing Art does is skills training. Nothing from the truth, people. Nothing from the truth. So I'm going to at least tell you about what we call the MSME support program. And the MSME support program does 2 things. Right? It offers grant to persons who have small businesses, right? And there are basically two categories. So if it is that you're a young person, you are registered in a hard course, or it is that you would have registered but would have left within the last 2 years, we have what is called the Trainee Startup Program. And what we do is that we offer you a grant of $100,000 to buy equipment or to get support to basically start a business. And you hear me right, it's a grant. It doesn't mean you pay back any money, right? And even though it may sound small, but think about it. We are trying to assist over 150 persons every year, right? To basically start a business. And the only qualification is you need to be registered in the hard course, or if it is that you are not registered, you need to have started the hard course and you will have ended that course within the last 2 years. Right? Now, along with that, you need to have what is called a business plan. Now, don't be daunted by the issue of a business plan, because we at this unit literally give you support to actually write your business plan. So we give you the template, we give you the financial templates, we give you the outline, and we actually hire specialists to actually walk you through the business plan writing process. All right, so that is one instance if you are a trainee, or if it is that you did a course for the last 2 years. We also assist persons who have small businesses. Once it is that you are in any of those sectors that Jason mentioned, and once it is that you would have been earning between $0 and $15 million. Right? Hard Trust will give you a grant of up to 1 million Jamaican dollars. I would say 15 million Jamaican dollars. Can you believe that? Right? We have their grant of up to 1 million Jamaican dollars. Again, it's a grant. It's not a loan. You're not expected to pay it back, right? So what it is that you would have to do to accept this grant? Again, you have to be operating in one of those sectors, one of those critical sectors. All right, you have to at least be able to produce a business plan. You have to be compliant. Compliant means that, boy, you're paying the taxes, you're 3% compliant, but then we assist you in getting all of those as well. You have to be able to produce a proper business plan. If it is that you have difficulties, Hard Trust will actually ensure that you get the assistance to actually write the actual plan that you basically need. All right? Now, in addition to that, after you're given the grant on both occasions, right, there's 2 years of hand-holding. And what I mean by that is in 2 years, they assist you with capacity building. They are given certain critical accesses. And what that means is if your business needs an accountant, for example, the MSME specialist in Hard Trust will assist you to get an accountant at a cost which is minimal to you. If it is that you need a social media specialist, they assist you to get all the help that you need, all the support that you need to ensure that your business is going to be a success. All right? And all you have to do is for that 2 years, ensure that A, you are basically compliant all the time. You know, ensure that you pay your taxes and all of those stuff, and we assist you in getting all of those things done. All right? Now, in addition to those 2 programs, you also have incubators. And how the incubators work is that if you're a small business and you're thinking of starting a small business, right? We have, you can go, for example, to Hart College of Construction Services, which is in Portmore. And once it is that you will join the incubator, say you're a plumber, say you're a carpenter, say into the construction field. Once you join the incubator, then you have access to all the great tools that Hart has. And believe it or not, Hart has what is called a construction lab, which means that all the great tools that you need for construction is actually on the Hart side. So once you have become a part of the incubator, you have access to all of those. You have access to a great number of business services as well. All right, so we have a number of incubators. There's an incubator in Ebony Park, and that one uses agriculture. And you get all support for agriculture that you basically need, including land, greenhouses, all support you need to basically go into the field of agriculture. All right, we have incubators in Runner Bay, which is the hospitality services. You have incubators at HCIT, which is in Montego Bay. So if you're in technology, you can simply go to HCIT, join incubator, and basically give you as much support as you basically can. All right, so the long and short of all of that is that Hard Trust does not only give you training, but if it is that you are in Jamaica, you're a young person who want to start a business, Hart is one of those places you can go to get the actual support to do so. All right, and we have a number of partnerships. You know, we partner with JVDC. So if JVDC is having programs, we can align it to all those programs. So all the business announcers in this country are in partnership with Hard Trust. All right, so if they're having programs, then we of course give you access to those programs as well. All right, so if you want to access the grant, you can simply go to grants.hart-nsta.org and you can apply for the grant online. All right, so if it is that you are lucky, we are open right now. We are open until the end of this month. The portal is going to open again in January. So if you're interested in getting a grant and be a part of the grant program, you can start put together your business plan starting now. All right, and then you can apply for those grants in January. All right, in addition to that, if it is that you need assistance to do the application to write your business plan, you can simply check into the apprenticeship unit and they will give you as much support as you basically can. All right, so that is it for now, guys. Any question you have, just drop them in the chat and we'll just answer those questions for you.
All right, so that was Mr. Jason Jacket, Recruitment Officer, and Mr. O'Neill Jones, MSME, Entrepreneurship Specialist at Hart Trust NSTA. I mean, such incredible opportunities that they spoke about. My mind is completely blown. But I want to go right into a question for our persons here, our Zoomers and other persons joining us on other platforms. And the question is a tricky question, by the way, so please listen. The question is, what is the cost for the Adult Continuing Education Program offered by Heart Trust NSTA?
That hard one.
It's not hard. It's not hard. I use the word cost, but remember I said it's tricky. So what is the cost for the Adult Continuing Education Program at Heart Trust NSTA? Baron? Baron says no cost, and Baron is completely correct. You weren't listening. There is no cost associated with the Adult Continuing Education Program at Heart Trust NSTA.
I feel Baron should get the goodie bag for that one. What do you think about that?
I think so. I think he deserves a goodie bag and maybe a meal voucher inside of it. Yes.
So goodie bag and meal voucher for Baron. All right.
Definitely agree with that proposal.
The presentations, Christina, I've learned so much from resume, job readiness, from learn about e-commerce, some websites a while ago that I heard. I've never heard about them in my life, and I'm so happy that I was here to learn about that. We learned about youth entrepreneurship and opportunities, the wealth of opportunities at Heart Trust NTA, and the grants and scholarships there. And for the agriculture persons who are interested in agriculture, we have that as well. So the presentations were amazing.
Comprehensive. Every angle that you can think of. You want to digitize your business.
Yeah.
There is something there for you through e-commerce. You want to go into to agriculture and agro-processing, there's something there for you. And if you just want to have a more traditional business, or you want to apply for a job, there's job readiness right there for you through Mrs. Teresa Taylor's presentation earlier. So now we're going to be engaging with our opportunities pop-up session. And I think it's only for 15 minutes in the breakout rooms, right? And from there, we'll head right back here with Javon and I, where we'll be closing out with a few more giveaways as we get ready to end our session. But first, our opportunities pop-up session for 15 minutes.
All right.
I think our breakout rooms are ready as well. And then after that, we'll come back and close out. Do we have time for a credit giveaway while they head off into the pop-up rooms?
All right, we'll already give away some digits.
So we probably want to go to some flow. All right, guys, just give us a second. Let's just pull up your credit. All right, so quick fingers, quick thinking. We ready? So this is actually it's a Digicel.
Okay.
No, it's a flow. It's a flow. All right, so *121 *885276 9245 1284. Again, *121 *885276 9245 1284.
We have time for a Digicel.
Did someone get it? No?
Okay.
All right, so let's try to skip to the end to get that Digicel right there. *121 it's the Digicel 02899 2029 6175. *121 02899 2029 6175.
Somebody got it? Ssl? All right, Ssl, congratulations on that Digicel credit. All right, it was, I'm so glad that I was able to host the Social Entrepreneurship Fair, because not only did we learn a lot, but we also were a part of history for the program to come.
Right.
So we're going to, this is just a precursor for the bigger picture.
Youth Social Entrepreneurship Program,
engage.
right?
Yes, so please engage us, because we have a lot more in store to build you guys. So Christina, close us out.
So I am so happy to have had all of you here, all my Zoomers, as well as individuals who joined us on our YouTube and Facebook platforms. We are excited to see all the things that you will do with the knowledge that you have learned here today. We have talked about e-commerce, agro-processing, agriculture, job readiness, and we want to see you, our young people, not of the future, but also of the present, what you will do in terms of starting your own businesses, expanding what you may already have, or just to go out and to apply for that dream job that you may have. Young people, 15 to 29, this fair was for you. We want to ensure that you are equipped, you are upskilled, you are retooled, you have all the knowledge that you need to take on this big world in front of you in terms of entrepreneurship and employment. My name is Christina Williams. It was my absolute joy to be here with you this afternoon. Javon, did you say your name already?
I'm Javon Gordon, and we're going to let our DJ
close
take
us out. Yes, with some more Afrobeats. Thank you guys. Have a great but a safe weekend. Yes. Mask up, sanitize. Take care.
Good afternoon, everyone. So if you are not yet in a breakout room, look to the top left of your screen. You will see the Heart NSTA room, and you'll also see the ILE room. That's the Institute of Law and Economics. Just click on whichever room you want to go into to get more information. Blessings.